Okay, so hello everyone. How are you? Um, okay, so I hope I'm audible to all of you. Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank Pen, Paper and Scissor for giving me this wonderful opportunity. And of course, thanks to all of you for joining in. So while everybody is joining in, let me just quickly introduce myself. So my name is Divya and I'm an artist. So I teach online art to adults and to kids as well. And I have experimented with the various mediums, but I guess out of all the mediums, I mostly work with charcoal, watercolors and acrylics. Okay. So you can find all my artworks on Instagram and my handle name is artphilic.me. So I think okay, so hello everyone, hello Swastik. Okay, so so today's session is all about a sellout painting. Okay, so we'll be doing a sellout painting in watercolors, and so I think we should get started, right? So just give me 1 minute. I'll just quickly turn my camera, and then we'll just start. Okay, let me just. Okay, so this is my handle name. You can find all my artworks here. Okay, and before we start, let me just show you what we are going to paint. So this is the painting. This is a sellout painting that we are going to paint. Okay, so sellout painting is basically a painting where you have a very colorful or a bright background with all the details, and the foreground is comparatively dark, or you don't add much details into the foreground, right? Okay, so great. So I'll just keep this aside, and coming on to the colors that I'll be using. So this is the colors that we'll be using for our background: purple, rose madder, crimson, vermilion, orange, gamboge and lemon yellow. Okay, so you can use any artist grade watercolors, and you can find all of them, I think, on the website of Pen Paper Scissor. I think they have lots of different brands of watercolors, ranging from the economical ones to a little expensive ones as well. Okay, so I'll just keep this aside, and this is my paper. So this is 100% cotton watercolor paper. You can also go for a 25% cotton, or you can also go for 100% cellulose paper. It's completely your choice, but I think 100% cotton is better because it stays wet for a longer period of time. So this is my paper. I have just taped it down onto a surface. This is like a spare cardboard that I was having with me. Okay, and the brushes that I'll be using a flat brush. This is a Camlin artist grade brush. Okay, not something that is like completely beginner friendly art supplies. So, and a round brush and a fine brush just for detailing, especially for the birds that we'll be making in the background. Okay, so I think let's start. So the first thing that I'll be doing is I'll be just applying water onto my background. Okay, and for this I'm using a mop brush. You can get all these supplies from the Pen Paper Scissor website as well. Okay, so I'll just keep it a little here. So first I'll apply an even coat of water on the whole of my paper. So we'll be doing a wet on wet technique. So by this I mean we'll be wetting our paper and then onto the wet background we'll be dropping the wet paints. So this is one of the most common techniques in watercolors. Okay. So make sure you apply an even coat. Don't not too much water. We don't want any puddles of water onto our paper. Just an even coat. So I'm just moving my brush a couple of times over my paper just to make sure that the water is evenly spread all over the surface, right? So if you can see my paper, there are no extra puddles of water, it's just perfectly wet. So first shade I'll start from purple, so I'll apply that on the top. Just so I'll just keep my masking tape below this just to give a tilt to the paper so that the color flows down, not backwards. So the top is purple and I'll just apply it, make it a little darker. I'll wash my brush, and the next shade is a rose madder. So apply this, and I want these colors to blend properly. So for this what I'll do is I'll just take some more purple and I'll run my brush over it so that the color is completely blended. Then I'll move on to crimson. And then scarlet or vermilion, any of this will work. And again I'll just run my brush a little up and down so that the blending is proper. The next is orange. Okay. And after orange, I'll switch on to my gamboge yellow. I'll also add a little lemon yellow in the bottom. Okay. And the last is a little of lemon yellow. So we're just trying to make a gradient sky. And yeah. So now I'll let this thing dry. Okay. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can ask me. Okay. Right, so I'll just let it dry for some time and then we'll move on to the foreground and we'll draw the palm trees. Okay, okay, the black color is basically we'll do the foreground with the black color. So for the background, we won't be using any black color. Okay, hi Webhav. Hi Kuldeep. Hi Arshad. Hi Gauri. Okay, see the colors, all the colors that I have used are here. Okay, so some of these colors are from Camlin and some of these colors are from Magello Mission. Okay, so I think it's perfectly okay. You can go with any brand, right? Any brand which suits your budget will be fine. Okay, so I'm still waiting for this background to get dried. I think it's still a little wet. So we want it to be completely dry, then only we can start with our foreground, right? Otherwise the black color will spread everywhere and obviously we don't want that. Okay, hi Akshita, how are you? Okay, so while this is drying, let me just show you some of the other sellout paintings so that you can get a better idea. Okay, so this is, okay, let me just keep it aside. Okay, so these are some of the other sellout paintings that I have done, and these, all of these are in watercolors only. Okay, and right, so in every basically sellout paintings, I guess what we do is we just make a beautiful background, adding in all the details, and the foreground normally remains dark. Okay, now coming back to the painting that we were doing, I think it's okay, a little bit is still wet from this side. rest, I guess. So I'll just wait for a few more minutes. You can also use a dryer, a hair dryer, to just speed up the process of drying, because I guess because of the humidity it's taking a little longer to dry than the usual. Okay, hi Himanshu, how are you? Okay, now moving on to the foreground. So what we have to do here is we just have to paint these two trees using black colors. So I'll take my medium size brush. This is number 8, okay, and I'll take some black color. Watercolor or gouache, which one you prefer? I prefer watercolor, of course, because I've worked with watercolor a lot. So of course for me it's watercolor always, without any second thought. Okay, so I'll just make a small land like structure at the bottom. Okay, it's still a little wet from here. I'll just take this tape off. Okay, you just have to make sure that it's completely dry, otherwise your color, it will spread everywhere and you won't get those sharp crisp lines that you actually want. So I guess while the paper is drying, let me just make some birds, because this side is a little wet, so I'll just add a few birds in the meanwhile. Although this is the last step, but I'm doing it a little. So to add birds, I'll make a center like this, and then I'll add a and on the other side as well. So that is how I make my birds. So I'll add maybe one or two more. Like this, and you can even change the shape. You can make it a little like this. Okay, now that my painting has dried. So let me just quickly make the trees. So I'll just start with the my brush only. If you want, you can make a pencil sketch, but it's, I guess, uh, you can do it like that also. So while making the trees, just remember that the bottom has to be a little thicker as compared to the top. So I'll just tilt my paper a little. Okay. And I'll draw the, so you can draw as many leaves as you want. So this is just for the reference. We can add a few more leaves later on. So I'm just first making an outline of the leaves. And it's okay even if these lines are not completely perfect, because anyhow when we'll be adding more details, everything will get covered up. Okay. So now I'll start adding the details. So I'll take a thin brush, I think this will be, and I'll hold my brush a little in the vertical direction so that to make thin strokes, and I'll start making the strokes like this. So you just need to make sure that your brush has a nice tip, otherwise the leaves won't come out. Properly. So similarly we'll do this. And on the other side as well. Then I'll one by one, okay, I'll use a little thinner brush because so this is a 0 number brush that I'm using now. And make sure to hold your brush a little in a vertical direction so that you can make really fine lines. And So I'm just switching on between the brushes. So some leaves can be a little thinner, some can be a little thicker as well. And that's too much paint onto my brush. And the last one here. Okay, now I feel that I'll be just adding one or two branches more. Okay. You can add as many leaves as you want. And I'll just add one at the bottom as well. Okay. So similarly, you can also add another tree. So I'll add another tree, a little shorter one here. Making the bottom a little thicker. And the top a little thinner. Okay. Now I'll just add on the leaves. Oh, this one became a little thicker, but it's okay. I think when we'll just make the leaves, it will get covered up. So in the similar manner, I'll start making here as well. few leaves this. Like this, and similarly like I'll just tilt the paper. I'll just tilt the paper a little, okay, because it's like somehow it's more comfortable for me to work like this. So you can just okay, I think it's looking perfect. I think that thing just got covered up. And so this space is looking a little empty, so I'll just add one more final branch here. I think it's looking a little okay. So yeah, right. If you want to add more trees, you can add more trees as well, but I guess my paper is a little smaller, so two are like more than sufficient for me. Okay, so the last thing that is left is to just give a white outline to the birds. So for that I'll use my white gouache. I have it here, so I'll just use a little bit of it, not too much, because we just need to add very thin lines at the bottom. So I'll just take a very little amount, and using my 0 number brush, I'll just add a little. Okay, to all of the birds, all the 3 birds. And yeah, like this. So yeah, I guess this was a simple one. I hope you all will find it really interesting, and you all will give it a try. So if you recreate this, don't forget to tag me and pen, paper and scissor. Okay, so I'll just remove the masking tape. And You can always you can also access this video onto the website, onto the Instagram handle of Pen Paper Scissor. It is available there in the IGTV videos. You can watch it again. And yeah, that's it. So this is what it looks like. Okay, this is nice, a beautiful gradient background. Okay, so I look forward to your recreations. Okay, and I hope you will tag me and tag Pen Paper Scissor. And thank you everyone for joining, and have a great day ahead. Bye bye.